Hi there, I'm Steve and I've recorded this short video to talk about the World Scout Jamboree and when I was lucky enough to be part of one in 1995. It changed my perspective on a whole range of things and gave me a taste for travelling, which following the Jamboree took me all over the world and around the globe. So it was in 1995 when I, along with 30 other scouts from Derbyshire, were chosen to represent the UK in attending the 18th World Scout Jamboree. It was held in the Netherlands near a place called Dronten, which is in Flevoland. I was one of nearly 30,000 scouts and staff members from 166 countries. At the time, this was the largest representation of countries that there had ever been at a Jamboree, and as such was the biggest that had ever taken place. Dronten's population wasn't even that amount of people, so when the World Jamboree arrived we more than doubled the local resident population. Imagine the population of Dronfield being doubled overnight, and that's how many scouts arrived. The theme of the Jamboree that I went to was Future is Now. And the Jamboree was opened by Queen Beatrix of the Netherlands as part of a fantastic opening ceremony which included parachutists skydiving down and landing in the ceremony area. Now we travelled to the Jamboree from Derbyshire by coach and we travelled through France and Belgium to get to the Netherlands in order to arrive there. I remember the journey being really exciting. I was anxious, of course, because I'd never been away from my parents for so long, but the journey was so exciting, everything that we saw along the trip and all the photos that we took. The camp, once we got there, was actually on reclaimed land that had been drained of seawater, and as such required a large seawall protecting the area from flooding. It seemed funny to be camping on what used to be the ocean floor, even though it was a good 35 years before we got there, of course. Now the campsite was immense, bigger than anything I'd ever seen. It was like a large town with stalls at the plaza, which was in the middle of the Jamboree site. There were activities everywhere, including the Jamboree Friendship Award. This was a ceremony on violence and peace. Now I was lucky enough to be selected whilst at the Jamboree to go parascending, whereby you were attached to a parachute and winched about 100 metres into the air. The winch then disconnects and you float back down to the ground. Now I remember the view being absolutely amazing, and because the land in the Netherlands is so flat, you could see for what seemed like miles. I also remember that years later, when I did a bungee jump, it was the parascending that gave me my first taste for extreme activities. In addition to this, there were other scouts and guides from all over the world, of course. All the scouts were keen to share, from playing football with Americans to swapping stories and scouting uniform. I still own a kimono that I swapped with a Japanese scout. I wonder if he has still got my UK Jamboree fleece. Following the Jamboree, we went to stay near Hamburg in Germany. One of the other scouts and I stayed with a German family for a few nights, which again was amazing. They welcomed us in and treated us like family. We visited Hamburg, which was fantastic and the cleanest place that I'd ever seen. I still remember it being one of the best cities I've ever been to. So was it all worth it? Yes, yes and yes. The Jamboree changed my outlook on the world. I found that there was a world out there, that there were people who shared my interests. It gave me a hunger for travel, for wanting to see the world, and I think really to have a go at anything, of which I went and did a lot more after the Jamboree, but that's what started it all. If you ever have a chance